BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey, I'm Sam, I'm your Thursday guy for BodyBags, and this week I am doing for International Horror Week, I will be choosing a movie from South Korea. Oh, man, lucky me. And I'm choosing The Wailing. Very interesting movie. I would say the movie's a very nicely well-made movie, and technically it's a good movie, but I hate sad endings. I mean, like, sometimes I get it, right? But sometimes they're the worst. Make me cry so much. Anyway, plot of the movie is that there's, it follows this dad who's a cop. He has a family, his wife and his daughter, and, his mom lives with them. And there's these murders going about, you know, these people going crazy, and then kills their family, and it's like, oh, well, what's going on? Why is this thing happening? And that ends up starting to happen to his daughter. She starts getting a little crazy, and so they try to figure out what's going on with her. And him and his buds have their suspicions on this Japanese guy that came around not too long beforehand, who they think he's the reason why, you know, all the bad stuff's going on. And then you end up finding out that they're half right. He's a part of it, but he's not completely all of why their town's going to... Anyway. I thought it was a very nice movie. As I said, sad ending. Okay. To be completely honest, this is my second take. My first take, I kept on harping on the idea that it's a sad ending, so, like, for me. But there was an actual, like, mistake with it, so I had to reshoot. I hate reshooting, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, back to the movie. It's a very nice movie with a lot of, like, metaphors and whatnot. And an overarching idea that I would say is very interesting. So the thing that's, like, connecting this and Dracula Untold is the idea that they aren't going to God. So in Dracula Untold, he goes to, like, a vampire to give him power. And in this, they go to a shaman. And the funny thing is that there's a priest literally in the movie. He's a part of the story. But he's a very shy, and when the movie's all said and done, a very incompetent priest who, this is, like, the first time he's face-to-face with evil, so he's, like, shell-shocked, doesn't know what to do about it. And so I would call this movie, like, well, I'm getting off track for a moment. I would call this the South Korean version of The Exorcist, except you change the ending. Anyway, back to the point. In The Wailing, you know, they call the shaman, in which, you know, it's just a guy, right? They're not, like, going to church kind of thing or whatever. And it's like, sorry. You would think that if something was going on to your child, that you would go and look for any solution to bring an end to whatever's going on. And it's like, they kind of did, but it's like the Christian guy, you know, the priest, is kind of like standing there, and they're like, so what should we do about it? And, like, looking over him, like, not really seeing him as a viable option. And then, you know, there's the ending. And so the back to the whole connecting thing. These two movies, I would say, are connected by the idea that your main characters aren't asking God for help, but are looking for physical man-made things for help, in which case never works out. That's the idea, and I thought that was an interesting idea that at least I noticed. That might not be what he was aiming for, but that's what I noticed when I watched it, so I thought that was interesting. But it's because this was the second time I ever watched this movie. The first time watching it, I was very, like, I, like, didn't know what I was watching, because when I first watched this, I didn't really know anything about what I'm watching. I kind of was, like a closed-in guy, not really taking in any answers to anything. And over the years, my mind's been a bit more open about possibilities. So watched this a second time, and I'm like, hey, actually, something else is going on in this scene, and it's hilarious seeing how it's meshing. I'm gonna quickly talk about this scene, and then I'm gonna give my rating, and then blah blah blah. So the scene, there's the shaman, and he has this dance ritual that he's gonna try to perform as a means to help save the girl. And while he's dancing, there's like another scene that kind of cuts in and back of the Japanese man also performing a ritual, but a very different one. And the idea at first is like, hey, they're fighting each other, you know, through the spirits and whatever kind of thing. I don't know. In which case, you know, very first time watching, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. But then watching it the second time, it's like, actually, thinking about it, doesn't really seem like they're, like, knowing that they're fighting each other. What it feels like is that the shaman is trying to fight the demon, while the demon is trying to do something completely different, unrelated to the shaman or the girl. And then, when, like, it looks like the shaman's actually doing some damage to the Japanese man, you notice something in the background that would kind of show that maybe the shaman was doing something, but there's a possibility that the shaman was just doing nothing. If anything, slightly helping, but like not really doing anything. And it's like, spoiler, like skip 30 seconds, okay? Skip 30 seconds. Go watch the movie. It's on Tubi, okay? Blah, 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 go. Plot twist at the end is that there's two demons fighting over the town, basically. And so that scene, you see the other demon kind of like walk by the Japanese guy, and the idea is that maybe she was actually the one causing damage to him. And so I always thought that was interesting, kind of going back to my other point about, like, you know, not looking for God, you're looking for man-made things, because that you think that shaman's gonna help you, that shaman ain't gonna do nothing. You think that guy's gonna save, you know, exorcise all the demons? That shaman doesn't know. Ish. Anyway, if I had to rate this movie right now, I'd probably give it an 8. And it would have been higher if it was a happy ending. Honestly, yeah. But I gave it a 8 because it's still a good movie. It's just a sad ending, and the idea, you know, you get it through the entire movie that this is going to be how it ends, and it's sad. But yeah, I'll give it an 8. So, for a South Korean movie, I would say it's really good. If you want to talk about all of Asia, definitely, you know, not the first choice, but it's not the last choice. My last choice has always got to be Audition, because I hate that ending. Audition's ending has got to be one of the worst things ever. Like, dude, I have that movie, and I am like, every time I think about it, I'm always that close from selling it, because I don't want to see that cover. I don't want to see that movie. Oh, it's so screwed up. Anyway, I'm Sam. I'm your Thursday guy for BodyBags. I chose for this week South Korea, in which I also chose The Wailing, and I gave that movie an 8 out of 10. I suppose that's about it. I'll see you next week.